This is an impromptu, unscripted, unplanned video that I decided to make because two reasons I'll say. First of all, this is a little bit of a tribute to a friend of mine and a great friend of my father who recently went into finer pastures. So, and considering the kind of life that he gave and the kind of life that he was doing and his hobbies and how I met him, I thought that in order to make him a tribute, I think it is time to make a little bit of a review on the second reason that I'm also here. Because a few days ago, we finally get the release of the Blu-ray of Coco. While I was doing my personal movie reviews on Facebook, I did talk about Coco. But for the newcomers, and now that I am now making this video for YouTube, I think it is best to know that for all those newcomers should know that I really love Coco. It became my favorite Disney Pixar movie of all time. A little bit of my personal views on Pixar. I did like Pixar. I think that they're a competent company of animation. Although not all of those movies came out of saying that, wow, this is amazing, this is great, or something like that. Maybe because since Pixar wins all the Oscars, I think that it's a little bit overrated, considering that there are some movies that are from other companies that are also better than Pixar movies. I mean, for example, I think that Brave sucks, and the Cars movies, it's a little bit underwhelming. But even though I always struggle finding out which was the Pixar movie that talked to me, to the one that it felt a little bit close to me. And I could have, and well, even though I like Toy Story, I like Bugs Life, and also The Incredibles and Up. I never had cemented myself saying that, okay, which is your favorite Pixar movie? I don't know. Not any Pixar movie caught my attention so far. If I will say what is my favorite Disney movie, I'll say that depends. If it's for 2D hand-drawn animation, that will be Lilo and Stitch. And for CGI, it's Zootopia. But Pixar, not until right now. And again, like I said, is Coco. And by the way, when I meant when it came a little bit close to me, I don't mean that on the Mexican side, because I'm not even Mexican. I'm Latin American. But okay, Mexicans and South Americans are technically kind of like neighbors, and we have some things that are similar but yet different. Well, very different. But this one talked to me more because of the themes, the art, and all this stuff. And by the way, while on the get-go, I hope that any of the manufacturer of Disney is seeing this, because I have a little bit of a complaint. I mean, I bought the Blu-ray DVD digital version, but what is this? What is this? You sent me 3 discs, and one of them has to be on top of the other one? I mean, what is this? That is so unprofessional, especially for Disney standards. I mean, couldn't you at least have another lid for to put the third disc or something like that? I mean, you did it with some other Blu-rays, like the one that I have for Fantasia. But I mean, what the hell? But anyway, a movie that is a little kid wanting to be a musician despite the family grudges, and then going to the land of the dead, where he begins to learn about the values of family values, but also the family learning about the appreciation of music, and how sometimes some grudges are not worth it. It really touched my heart. So much that this is one of those few movies that that to the whole family, I didn't recommend it. I obligate them to watch them. And during my whole journey, I saw this movie on the theater 4 times. 4 times! The first one is to watch the movie. The second one is a rewatch. The third one I had to bring in my one of my cousins while I was in Texas. And the first time is because I made a promise with some relatives who also wanted to watch the movie. So I invited it for Christmas. And all of them really liked, but especially my aunts. My aunts really felt attached to the movie, mostly because it made them remember some of the elements that we cherish in our families, in our circle of families and friends. Mostly on the aspect of the wooden guitar singing. I never knew that my grandfather, my mother's side, played the guitar. And boy that when I learned about that, I can see why, while watching the movie in the most tear-jerking parts, I could see all of my aunts crying, tearing, because they remember my grandfather. But it also touched them a little bit hard because we lost my grandmother two years ago. And so, yeah, this is the power of how you handle a family film with care. Even though it comes from probably the most evil company in the world. I'm talking to you, Disney. But enough about other family members, even though it came out close. What about my part? Well, truth to be told, I'm not a singer. I don't even know how to play a guitar or any musical instrument. I kind of didn't care about it, and I was so lazy that I didn't have the courage or the motivation to do it. But I do really remember that my father, he had a group of friends that loved to play music. They really like all the Latin American singing, and with the wooden guitar, the basic instruments. But one of my friends, one of my father's friends, he was very, very passionate about the music, that he dedicated his hobby to it. And so my father and their group of friends, I always remember that when I was a child, every Christmas season, we just gather around our family houses, and they begin to sing the Christmas songs. A few of them were the Mexican ones. Who I always remember that we always sang Las Posadas, which for a while I got sick of it, but not anymore. I'm finally over that phase. And also they did manage to create their own Christmas song. It was called The Good Odds. Although in Spanish we call it El Buen Buey. This is a song that my father's friend wrote. So technically, it's their own original song. I mean. Well, I also kind of remember that I always pestered him saying that I want to hear the Drummer Boy, the Spanish version song. That one is still my favorite Christmas song. The boy with the drummer boy. But they hardly did it. I remember mostly because they thought that it was a hard song, apparently for them. But it was always the last song in the lyrics book, and I always wanted to hear it. So yeah, then because of the age and all this stuff, they disbanded. But they were still in good terms. Oh, I kind of forgot saying that not only they managed to sing those songs on while gathering around the house. Me and my family, we also gather at least each year on a hospital, a children's hospital, and this is where my parents used to sing to all these children. That's nice of them. So, but also the other reason I'm talking about this, and at least to remember this good friend that passed away, is that he was kind of like the nicest guy I could ever think of. He and I grew attached. We were fond of each other. We were very friendly. He did invite me to eat some restaurants sometimes. And I do remember that he was still passionate on the music, that he just had his own studio. He even let me borrow his studio when I was making some sound editing for a documentary that I was doing for a City Hall, which was an anime convention video that I was doing, a whole documentary about Osamu Tezuka. And he was nice enough to even show me the basics of sound editing. I'm not an expert on it. Some part of it I'm getting rusty of it, but these are some of the memories that now I kind of remember of him. And now every time I'm gonna see a wooden guitar, I always remember my father, his friends. I remember him, my family, and what a way to show off that love with a movie like Coco. And this is the reason why once I finally found out that it was released on Blu-ray and DVD, I had to get it. And it is a tremendous coincidence that when the movie came out, it was the date when he passed away. He technically, let's say that he went now to the land of the dead. We'll always remember him, just like I'll remember him. So that's all I have to say about this. I am sorry if I am taking advantage of something that people will say that, oh well, it's just a movie. Why not? You're not comparing a movie. You're comparing a movie to someone so close to you. But I couldn't think of a better way to mix my passions about movies and animation with a guy who was so special in my life. So when my time comes from In the Land of the Dead, I hope to see you there.